2 days of national mourning underway in Cuba for the victims of that plane crash, meantime, at the main airport in Havana. An investigation has been launched over why the plane went down shortly after it took off. More than 100 people died on that flight traveling to a city in eastern Cuba, while 3 people survived. CGTN's Giles Gibson is in Havana with more. Giles?
That's right. We've had some more details emerging throughout the day from the Cuban authorities. They've given us some more details on the survivors of the crash. We understand that there are 3 women, and all of these women are still in hospital with very serious burns. We've also heard from Cuba's transport minister as the Cuban authorities are launching their investigation into what's happened here. And they've said that they've discovered one of the 2 black boxes from the aircraft in what they call good condition. So really, that black box that they've discovered and the other one that's evidently still out there somewhere in the crash site, that will give us clues into exactly what happened as the Cuban authorities try to build their timeline of how this plane plunged to the ground shortly after it took off from the international airport here in Havana.
And so, Giles, people just must be devastated over this news. It's a tight-knit community there. I'm sure a lot of people know people who were on the plane.
That's absolutely right. You can probably see there's some sort of dark clouds coming in here over the Cuban capital after a sunny day, actually. And those dark clouds really reflect the pretty somber atmosphere that we've seen here in Havana. I went down to the crash site itself and I spoke to some of the local residents there, some of whom had seen the plane in difficulty and then plunging to the ground with their own eyes, some of whom had also been to the crash site in the immediate aftermath and had seen some absolutely horrifying things, some of them talking about how they had to wash the blood off their arms and their legs after they'd been trying to help some of the people involved in the crash. We also understand that 135 family members of the victims are heading to the Cuban capital, and they have the absolutely horrifying task of having to identify potential family members. So a very, very somber atmosphere here in the Cuban capital.
Well, Giles Gibson, thank you for the update live in Havana.